Hi there, it's Sam from poodles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me on another one of my Advent Countdown projects. Today I have a candy cane treat box for you, which has got nice size, but this one's made with the brand new envelope punch board. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make an envelope. If you go to my blog, you will find that there's a video there that Stampin' Up have provided on how to make an envelope, but I want to show you how to make a little treat box that's got sides to it. So I'm going to pop these to one side. You can see I've used only one style of paper, but I've just mixed it up a little bit with sponging the edges here. I've mixed cherry cobbler in, and I've got crumb cake, I've got all sorts. So I'm going to do a slightly different version. And the reason I'm doing 4, or I will have done 4, is because it's only a 5.5 by 5.5 inch sheet of paper. So you can get 4 from a 12 by 12 sheet. Now, you also know that I normally give you dimensions in metric and imperial. I can give you metric, I'm not going to, because the envelope punch board is actually basically it's made with imperial dimensions predominantly. So these white ones here are imperial, these are imperial, but there are metrics which are sort of hidden here at the bottom, and then in the UK and Europe we get supplied with a metric version of the sticky label that you can put over the top. So I will give you only the imperial dimensions, just because that's predominantly on here, so it's not a case of you're not going to have those measurements, you will. So your piece of paper, 5.5 by 5.5 inches, and you start by punching, by lining up your paper with the 2-inch mark here, and the first thing you do is you push your button, and that's going to create a notch, and then here you follow your score line. So that's simply it. And then you slide it without moving it, but you just slide it up to the 2 5/8 of an inch mark, which is here. You punch and you score again. So that's all that is. This time we're going to line up the score line here. You punch and score down, and then you come along to the second one that's here, punch and score down, and then come back round again, and you line up both of these, punch and score down, punch and score down. What we also need to do, over on this side we've got 2 little punch marks, we want to punch in both of those, so we're not using the scoring tool. I'll put that down, punch a hole on the first score line, slide it along, punch a hole on the next score line. So that now is exactly the same, but there's no score lines across here. Now I want to round my corners, so I'm turning it around just so I can see that I'm lining it up properly, and I'm going to round all of them. So there we go, that's the punch board done. Move that out of the way. I'm going to hang on to this bone folder, and I want to have the multicoloured side outside, and actually I didn't score on that side, it doesn't matter. So just fold on all of your score lines. So there should be 6 in total. Remember, we didn't score across the top. And the bit to remove, you've got a tiny little, whether you've got a score line along the bottom, there's a little square here. We're going to get rid of that completely. So it's just a tiny, tiny, weeny little square. So get rid of those. And bring in the cherry cobbler ink and a sponge, and literally you're just going to sponge all the way round. Nice and quick, doesn't take long, particularly if you're using a sponge. But it just changes the look very slightly, because that's my plain one that hasn't been sponged. And obviously these two over here, you can see that there's a difference between them. Just that little bit of sponging. And then I want to do this part as well, so you fold it over, sponge that side, sponge that one, and then this is the bit that's going to be on display at the back. So little sponge up around the edges there. And now it's just a case of building up the box. So this section here is going to come up first, and I found that glue dots, little mini glue dots, are the best, so that you're not sticking sticky strip or snail in the wrong place, and you just go right to the top corner, the top part there, and you fold over. There we go. And then the same over here. I'm going to pop a glue dot on this section, so on the uppermost part, and then on this side, on the bit that's going to fold over. And you just pop your hands in, just to make sure it's all secure. So you haven't got glue in the wrong place, which is exactly what I did when I first made one. I had snail all over the place. I was sticking myself to the grid paper, I was sticking grid paper to me, sticking the project to me. So, some cherry cobbler seam binding ribbon, because it matches and it's pretty, and I love it. I love seam binding ribbon. I'm sure you probably worked that out having watched my videos. Trim off the ends. Little bit of stamping. Of course we've got to do some stamping. I've got the Very Merry tag set this time. Again, a huge favourite actually this season. Some Whisper White cardstock. I've chosen the Very Merry this time. So back in with my ink. One of those. I'll move those out of the way. And this perfectly matches with the 7/8 of an inch scallop circle. So I'll punch one of those out. Oops, let me line that up. And then a 1 inch circle, plain white one. Bring back in my ink to sponge the edges, because, you know, that's what we've been doing on this particular one. Grab my dimensionals. So one on the back of that. Oops. One on the back of there, and it's just layering it up. Bring back in the little pouch, pop it on there, and then you grab a couple more candy canes. Do not drop your candy canes on the way home from the supermarket, because you break them. A couple in there, and that is how you get 4 treat pouches from 1 sheet of cardstock using the brand new envelope punch board. And I love this punch board. I've got so many different projects on the go. I've got boxes and bags and all sorts, but I hope you like this one as my advent countdown for today, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.